First contact and betrayal. The message arrived on a quiet Tuesday morning at the Lunar Observatory. Dr. Sarah Chin was reviewing data from the new quantum telescope array when her screens flickered with an impossible signal, a perfectly structured series of prime numbers, followed by a mathematical sequence that could only be artificial in origin. Within hours, the entire scientific community was abuzz with excitement. After centuries of searching the stars, humanity had finally received proof of intelligent alien life. The signal's origin traced back to a civilization calling themselves the Galactic Empire, a species that claimed to have achieved interstellar travel centuries ago. The Arcturians presented themselves as peaceful explorers, seeking to welcome humanity into a larger galactic community. Their initial transmissions contained scientific knowledge freely shared, advancements in medicine, physics, and technology that seemed almost magical to human understanding. World leaders and scientists alike were captivated by the possibility of peaceful first contact. Dr. Chen led the team responsible for coordinating humanity's response. Together with her colleagues at the International Space Coalition, ISC, she helped establish the first communication protocols with the alien civilization. "We need to proceed with cautious optimism," she advised the United Nations Security Council. "While their intentions appear peaceful, we must remain vigilant." Few heeded her warnings. When the Arcturians announced their intention to send a diplomatic vessel to Earth, the world celebrated. Markets soared, religious leaders began adapting their teachings, and children everywhere dreamed of touching the stars. The arrival of the Arcturian ship was scheduled for the new research station orbiting Mars. Recently completed, the station represented humanity's most advanced space facility. Admiral James Rodriguez, commander of Earth's Small Space Defense Force, shared Dr. Chen's concerns. In private meetings with military leadership, he argued for maintaining high alert status despite the seemingly peaceful nature of the contact. Throughout history, first contact between civilizations has rarely ended well for the less advanced society, he warned. His caution earned him ridicule from political leaders eager to embrace the new era of interstellar relations. The Arcturian diplomatic vessel arrived with great ceremony. It was a massive ship, sleek and crystalline, dwarfing humanity's largest space constructions. The alien delegates emerged in environmental suits that obscured their true forms, a necessity, they claimed, due to different atmospheric requirements. Their ambassador, who called himself First Speaker Zix, spoke perfect English through a translation device. For 3 months, negotiations and cultural exchange proceeded smoothly. The Arcturians expressed interest in humanity's art, music, and philosophy, claiming to find human creativity uniquely fascinating. They offered to help upgrade Earth's technology in exchange for cultural artifacts and the right to establish a permanent embassy on Mars. Dr. Chen worked closely with the alien scientists, but something about their behavior troubled her. They seemed particularly interested in Earth's military capabilities, asking pointed questions about defense systems and response protocols. When she raised her concerns to the ISC leadership, they dismissed them as paranoia. The attack came without warning. During a routine inspection of the Mars research station, the Arcturian diplomats suddenly activated hidden weapons. The station's crew, mostly scientists and researchers, had no chance to defend themselves. Among the victims was Dr. Chen's younger sister, Maya, a promising xenobiologist who had been studying Arcturian biology. Surveillance footage showed the brutal efficiency of the attack. The Arcturians moved with military precision, securing critical systems and eliminating resistance. Their environmental suits split open to reveal combat armor underneath. First Speaker Zix's final transmission to Earth dropped all pretense of diplomacy. "Your species has been judged too dangerous to allow unfettered development. Submit to Arcturian authority or face extinction." But the Arcturians had made a crucial mistake. In their arrogance, they assumed humanity would be easy to subjugate. They didn't know about the classified military installation hidden beneath the Lunar Observatory, or the experimental weapons platforms disguised as communication satellites. Most importantly, they didn't know about Project Phoenix, humanity's secret contingency plan for hostile first contact. As the Mars station burned, Admiral Rodriguez activated emergency protocols across Earth's defense network. In underground bases and hidden facilities around the globe, soldiers and pilots rushed to their posts. Weapons systems that had been developed in absolute secrecy powered up for the first time. Dr. Chen, watching the destruction of the Mars station from Earth, felt a cold rage replace her grief. The Arcturians had betrayed humanity's trust, killed her sister, and threatened her species with extinction. But they were about to learn a harsh lesson. Humans don't take kindly to bullies, no matter what planet they're from. As the Arcturian fleet began moving toward Earth, humanity prepared its response. They had hoped for peace but prepared for war. Now they would show the galaxy why it was a mistake to underestimate the human spirit. The real first contact war was about to begin, and Earth would not go quietly into the night. The hidden strength. The Arcturian fleet emerged from hyperspace in perfect formation, their crystalline ships casting prismatic reflections across Earth's orbital space. Their numbers were overwhelming. Over 300 capital ships arranged in attack positions. By all conventional military assessments, humanity stood no chance against such firepower. First Speaker Zix's voice echoed across all communication channels. Your pathetic species has one planetary rotation to surrender. Resist, and we will reduce your cities to ash. The message was designed to inspire terror. Instead, it ignited fury. Deep beneath the lunar surface, Admiral Rodriguez stood in humanity's most closely guarded secret, the Strategic Defense Command Center. Massive holographic displays showed the positions of both Arcturian ships and Earth's hidden defenses. Beside him, Dr. Chen worked furiously at a quantum computer terminal, analyzing the enemy fleet's energy signatures. They're using a crystalline-based technology, she reported, her voice steady despite the weight of the moment. Just as we suspected from the initial scans, their ships are essentially giant semiconductors, incredibly powerful, but potentially vulnerable to the right frequency of electromagnetic pulses. Rodriguez nodded grimly. Time to show them why you don't judge a species by its apparent level of technology. He pressed his palm against the command console's biometric scanner. Operation Phoenix, Phase 1. Authorization code. Humanity stands. Across the solar system, hidden installations sprang to life. What the Arcturians had dismissed as primitive communication satellites suddenly transformed, revealing advanced weapon systems developed through decades of secret research. The seemingly simple orbital defense platforms around Earth's major cities shimmered as quantum camouflage deactivated, exposing next-generation shield generators. But the real surprise lay in the asteroid belt. For 30 years, humanity had been hollowing out selected asteroids, converting them into stealth battle stations. Now these massive rocks began to move, their surfaces rippling as thousands of weapon ports opened. Project Phoenix wasn't just a defensive program. It was humanity's hidden fleet. What is this? Zix's voice had lost its arrogant edge. Our scans showed no such capabilities. That was the point, Rodriguez muttered. He opened a channel to all Earth forces. This is Admiral Rodriguez. The enemy has shown their true colors. They came here expecting to find an easy conquest. Instead, they found humanity. All units, execute Battle Plan Omega. The asteroid ships accelerated, their massive forms belying incredible maneuverability thanks to gravity manipulation technology developed in secret. From Earth's surface, hundreds of specialized fighters launched, their hulls incorporating metamaterials that made them nearly invisible to Arcturian sensors. Dr. Chen's contribution to Project Phoenix proved its worth in the opening moments of the battle. The fighters carried electromagnetic pulse weapons specifically tuned to the frequency she had calculated. The first wave struck the Arcturian fleet's outer perimeter, their weapons passing straight through the alien shields. Several crystal ships immediately went dark, their sophisticated systems overloaded. The Arcturians recovered quickly, adapting their shields and returning fire with devastating energy weapons. But humanity had anticipated this too. The asteroid ships absorbed the attacks with minimal damage, their dense rock cores reinforced with exotic materials that dispersed energy attacks. Second wave, engage, Rodriguez ordered. This time, the attacks came from seemingly empty space as cloaked orbital platforms revealed themselves directly alongside Arcturian vessels. Point-blank railgun fire shattered crystal hulls, the hypersonic projectiles designed to exploit the structural weaknesses Dr. Chen had identified in their architecture. The battle quickly devolved into chaos, exactly as planned. Humanity's forces fought unconventionally, striking from unexpected angles, using weapons the Arcturians had never encountered. Earth's defenders had spent years preparing for this moment, developing technologies and tactics specifically designed to counter advanced alien civilizations. In the command center, Dr. Chen monitored the quantum entanglement communications network, another secret development that the Arcturians couldn't detect or interrupt. "The enemy fleet is splitting up," she reported. "They're trying to establish a new formation." Rodriguez smiled grimly. "They're fighting by their rulebook. We're fighting by ours." He activated the command channel again. "All units, initiate chaos protocol." The human fleet's formation dissolved into apparent randomness. Fighters executed maneuvers that seemed suicidal. Asteroid ships collided and split apart only to reform in different configurations. To the Arcturians, it appeared that Earth's forces had lost all coordination and discipline. But this too was planned. Each unit operated with tactical autonomy, following complex algorithms designed to create patterns of organized chaos. While the Arcturians struggled to predict and counter their movements, humanity's forces steadily inflicted damage on the invading fleet. Hours into the battle, the true cost of the Arcturians' arrogance became clear. A third of their fleet had been disabled or destroyed, while Earth's forces had lost only a handful of fighters and none of the asteroid ships. The invaders had expected to face primitive weapons and tactics. Instead, they found themselves fighting an enemy that had spent decades preparing specifically for this kind of conflict. In the command center, Dr. Chen's terminal flashed with new data. "Admiral, we're detecting energy signatures consistent with their faster-than-light drives. Multiple ships are preparing to retreat." Rodriguez watched the tactical display as Arcturian vessels began breaking off from the battle. "Let them run," he said quietly. "Let them tell the galaxy what happens when you underestimate humanity." As the first wave of Arcturian ships flowed into hyperspace, Earth's defenders maintained their positions. This was only the beginning. The enemy would return, likely with reinforcements and countermeasures against humanity's revealed capabilities. But that too had been anticipated in Project Phoenix's planning. The real war was just beginning, and humanity had many more surprises in store. Counterstrike. 3 days after the initial battle, Earth's War Council gathered in the underground facility beneath Mount Cheyenne. Holographic displays showed the current positions of both human and Arcturian forces across the solar system. The enemy fleet had retreated to the outer reaches of Mars' orbit, regrouping while awaiting reinforcements. Admiral Rodriguez stood before the assembled military and scientific leaders. "The Arcturians are adapting their tactics," he reported. "They've modified their shields to resist our EMP weapons and are developing countermeasures against our cloaking technology. But they've played right into our hands." Dr. Chen stepped forward, her holographic presentation showing detailed scans of the alien fleet. "Every time they adapt their defenses, they reveal more about their technological base. Their ship's crystalline structure isn't just for show. It's integral to their faster-than-light technology. And that's their greatest weakness." The room fell silent as she explained the culmination of her research. "Their entire civilization depends on these crystal-based technologies. It's efficient and powerful, but it's also inflexible. They can't comprehend how we're fighting because human technology followed a completely different evolutionary path." "Which brings us to Phase 2, Rodriguez announced. "Operation Solar Storm. The plan was audacious, perhaps even insane by conventional military standards. But humanity had long since abandoned conventional thinking. As the details were revealed, even the most skeptical council members began to understand the brilliance of its design. 24 hours later, the counter-offensive began. The Arcturian fleet detected multiple human ships appearing to malfunction, their defense systems powering down as they drifted toward Mars. Believing they had found a weakness in Earth's technology, the aliens moved to capture these seemingly vulnerable vessels. It was a trap, but not in the way the Arcturians expected. As their ships approached, the malfunctioning human vessels suddenly accelerated, each one targeting a specific crystal ship. The aliens prepared for impacts that never came. Instead, the human ships passed straight through their targets, revealed as nothing more than elaborate holograms. The real attack came from Mars itself. During the months of peaceful diplomatic relations, humanity had secretly seeded the red planet's surface with thousands of quantum-linked particles. Now these particles activated in perfect synchronization, creating a planet-wide electromagnetic web that interfered with the Arcturians' crystalline technology. Entire sections of the alien fleet found their systems disrupted, their sophisticated weapons and defenses reduced to their most basic functions. But this was just the beginning of humanity's counterstrike. From hidden bases on Mars' moons, Phobos and Deimos, a new type of weapon emerged. These weren't the obvious fighters and battleships the Arcturians had faced before. Instead, swarms of microscopic robots, each one carrying a fraction of a larger consciousness, poured forth toward the enemy fleet. The Arcturians think in terms of big ships and powerful weapons, Dr. Chen explained from the command center. They never considered that true strength might lie in being small, numerous, and adaptable. The nanite swarms infiltrated the crystalline ships through microscopic imperfections in their hulls. Once inside, they began systematically disrupting the alien vessel's internal systems. Crystal computers crashed as the nanites rewrote their basic programming. Life support systems redirected atmosphere from combat sections to storage areas. Navigation systems reported false data, causing ships to collide with each other. The Arcturian response was predictable. They attempted to destroy the infected ships to prevent the spread of the nanite infection. This too played into humanity's strategy. Each destroyed ship released more nanites into space, creating an expanding cloud of technological contamination that threatened every crystalline vessel in range. Admiral Rodriguez watched the tactical displays with grim satisfaction. "Launch Phase 3, he ordered. From Earth, a massive electromagnetic pulse erupted, carefully tuned to interact with Mars' artificial electromagnetic web. The pulse created a cascading reaction that transformed the space around Mars into a temporary dead zone for crystalline technology. Arcturian ships caught in the field found themselves completely paralyzed. The final stroke came from humanity's asteroid ships, which had quietly maneuvered into position during the chaos. They launched a new type of weapon, quantum disruptors that targeted the very molecular structure of the crystal ships. Where before humanity had disabled enemy vessels, now they began to systematically destroy them. First Speaker Zix's voice crackled across the communication channels, its usual arrogance replaced by desperation. "This is impossible. You're nothing but primitives. How can you possess such weapons?" "You made a fundamental mistake," Rodriguez replied calmly. "You judged us by your standards, your way of thinking. Humanity has spent its entire history adapting, improvising, and overcoming. We don't follow predictable paths of technological evolution. We take quantum leaps." The battle turned into a rout. Arcturian ships fled in disarray, many of them critically damaged by the nanite swarms or quantum disruption. Those that escaped would carry with them a message to the wider galaxy. Earth was not a primitive world to be conquered, but a deadly trap for any who dared to threaten it. In the aftermath, Dr. Chen studied the data from the battle. The Arcturians would return, she knew, but they would find humanity even better prepared. The nanites were already adapting, learning from their interaction with alien technology. The quantum disruptors were being refined based on combat performance. Most importantly, humanity had shown that it could not only defend itself but take the fight to the enemy. The next phase of the war would not be fought in Earth's solar system. It would be fought in Arcturian space. As the reports of victory poured in, Admiral Rodriguez turned to Dr. Chen. "Send the message," he ordered. "It's time to show them what humanity can really do when we stop playing defense." The counterstrike had succeeded beyond all expectations, but it was only the beginning. The real war was about to begin, and humanity was ready to take it to the stars. The Great Deception. 3 weeks after the Battle of Mars, the Arcturian Empire mobilized its full military might. Long-range sensors detected thousands of crystal ships converging on Earth's solar system. The enemy had abandoned subtlety for overwhelming force. A massive armada designed to crush humanity's resistance once and for all. In the Strategic Defense Command Center, Dr. Chen studied the incoming fleet data with an unexpected smile. "They're still thinking linearly," she observed, "still believing that bigger numbers automatically mean victory." Admiral Rodriguez nodded. "Then let's show them how humanity fights when we're truly unleashed. Initialize Project Hydra." The plan that followed would become legendary in the annals of warfare. While the Arcturians gathered their forces for a decisive battle, humanity prepared an elaborate deception that would change the nature of the war itself. It began with a series of apparent retreats. Earth's defensive platforms powered down. The asteroid ships withdrew to seemingly random positions. To the Arcturian fleet, it appeared that humanity was falling back in fear of their superior numbers. What the enemy didn't realize was that each retreating human vessel left behind something invisible to their sensors: quantum-entangled particles, precisely arranged in a three-dimensional grid throughout the solar system. Dr. Chen's team had discovered that these particles, when properly synchronized, could create localized distortions in spacetime itself. The Arcturian Armada entered the solar system with supreme confidence. Their numbers were overwhelming, their weapons powered to maximum. First Speaker Zix, now promoted to War Commander, broadcast his message across all frequencies: "Your tricks and deceptions end today. Surrender or be annihilated." Admiral Rodriguez's response was simple: "Activate the grid." In an instant, the quantum particle network came alive. Space itself seemed to fracture and multiply around the Arcturian fleet. Where before they had faced a single solar system, now they appeared to be surrounded by hundreds of identical copies, each containing its own Earth, its own defense fleet, its own asteroid bases. The effect was more than just visual. Each quantum mirror universe generated real energy signatures, real mass readings, real tactical data. The Arcturians' sophisticated sensors, designed to pierce through any deception, confirmed that they were somehow facing multiple versions of the same solar system. Confusion rippled through the enemy fleet. Which Earth was real? Which human ships were actual threats? Their perfect formation began to break apart as different squadron commanders chose different targets, each believing they had identified the true enemy position. This was exactly what humanity had planned for. As the Arcturian fleet dispersed, trying to engage multiple targets simultaneously, Earth's forces began their true attack. The asteroid ships, which had seemingly withdrawn in random directions, now revealed their actual purpose. Each one was carrying a specialized device that Dr. Chen called a reality anchor. When activated, these devices stabilized specific portions of the quantum grid, turning the mirror universes from illusions into temporarily real spaces. Arcturian ships found themselves suddenly trapped in pocket dimensions, cut off from their fleet, and facing concentrated human attacks from all sides. The beauty of it, Dr. Chen explained to the War Council as the battle unfolded, is that they can't adapt to this. Their crystal technology is based on manipulating normal spacetime. We're changing the rules of reality itself. The Arcturian response was predictable. They attempted to use their superior numbers to overwhelm every possible target simultaneously. But this too played into humanity's strategy. Every time their ships fired their energy weapons, The quantum grid absorbed and redirected the power, using it to generate even more convincing mirror universes. Admiral Rodriguez watched as the enemy fleet torn itself apart trying to fight an impossible battle. "Launch Phase 2, he ordered. From Earth's moon, hidden beneath the surface in massive hangars, a new type of vessel emerged. These ships were smaller than the asteroid bases, but incorporated everything humanity had learned about Arcturian technology. Their hulls were laced with artificial crystals designed to resonate with enemy ship systems. As these hybrid vessels approached the confused Arcturian fleet, they began broadcasting on frequencies that matched the enemy's crystalline technology. To the Arcturian sensors, these ships appeared to be their own reinforcements arriving from the Empire. The deception was perfect. Enemy vessels dropped their shields to allow the supposed reinforcements to dock, only to find themselves boarded by human special forces teams equipped with adapted crystal technology. Ship after ship fell from within as their crews realized too late that they had been infiltrated. War Commander Zix's furious transmissions became increasingly desperate. "This is impossible. You cannot manipulate reality itself. You cannot turn our own ships against us. What are you?" Dr. Chen opened a channel to respond. "We are human. We don't accept the limitations you try to impose. We don't follow your rules of warfare. We adapt. We improvise. We overcome. And most importantly, we learn from our enemies." The battle devolved into chaos, exactly as planned. Unable to distinguish friend from foe, reality from illusion, the mighty Arcturian armada began to break apart. Some ships fled immediately, while others fired desperately at anything that moved, often hitting their own vessels in the process. In the command center, Admiral Rodriguez watched the tactical display with grim satisfaction. The quantum grid was working perfectly, creating a maze of mirror universes that trapped and divided the enemy fleet. The hybrid ships continued their infiltration, turning more and more crystal vessels to human control. But even as victory seemed certain, Dr. Chen detected something troubling in the sensor data. "Admiral," she called out, "I'm picking up unusual energy readings from the lead Arcturian vessels. They're attempting something desperate. The enemy's final gambit was about to be revealed, and humanity would need every ounce of its ingenuity to face what came next. Victory and recognition." The unusual energy readings Dr. Chen detected proved to be the Arcturians' ultimate weapon, a desperate attempt to turn their own technological foundation into a doomsday device. The remaining crystal ships began to vibrate in perfect synchronization, their structures resonating at frequencies that threatened to tear apart the fabric of space-time itself. "They're trying to create a cascading quantum rupture," Dr. Chen announced, her fingers flying across the control panels. "If they succeed, it could destroy half the solar system." Admiral Rodriguez's response was immediate. "Initiate Protocol Omega. All ships, fall back to preset coordinates." The human fleet's apparent retreat was not born of fear, but of preparation. Like everything else in this war, humanity had planned for even this possibility. As Earth's forces withdrew in perfect coordination, the quantum grid they had created began to change its configuration. "They think they can use their crystal technology to destroy us all," Dr. Chen explained to the War Council. "But they've forgotten one crucial fact. We've been studying their technology since first contact. We know its limitations better than they do." The Arcturian ships continued their buildup of power, their crystalline structures glowing with impossible energies. War Commander Zix's final transmission radiated with fanatic determination. "If we cannot have this system, then none shall." But at the crucial moment, when the enemy fleet attempted to trigger their doomsday weapon, something unexpected happened. The quantum grid, rather than being destroyed by the energy release, began to absorb it. Each entangled particle in the network acted as a conduit, channeling the destructive power through the mirror universes humanity had created. "Now," Rodriguez ordered, "activate the Mobius Protocol." Dr. Chen's team executed their masterstroke, a manipulation of space-time that turned the Arcturians' own weapon against them. The energy they had gathered to destroy the solar system was redirected through the quantum grid in a perfect loop, feeding back into their own ships. The effect was devastating. Crystal vessels began to crack and shatter as they were overwhelmed by their own power. The mighty Arcturian armada, pride of their empire, was being destroyed by its own desperate gambit. In the chaos that followed, humanity revealed its final surprise. From the outer reaches of the solar system, a new fleet of ships appeared, vessels that combined human ingenuity with carefully reverse-engineered Arcturian technology. These hybrid ships moved with impossible grace, their hulls seamlessly blending organic and crystalline components. "We didn't just study your technology," Dr. Chen broadcast on all frequencies. "We improved it, evolved it, made it our own." The hybrid fleet engaged the remaining Arcturian ships, not with weapons, but with a more sophisticated approach. They broadcast signals that interfaced directly with the enemy vessel's crystal matrices, offering their crews a choice: surrender and share in humanity's technological evolution, or face destruction. One by one, Arcturian ships began to power down their weapons. Even War Commander Zix, seeing his mighty fleet in ruins, finally acknowledged defeat. "How?" he demanded. "How did primitives like you achieve all this?" Admiral Rodriguez's response was measured and clear. "Because we are human. We don't just adapt to challenges. We thrive on them. We don't just overcome obstacles. We learn from them. Every time you tried to destroy us, you only made us stronger." In the aftermath of the battle, as surrender protocols were implemented and diplomatic channels reopened, the true scope of humanity's achievement became clear. Earth had not just defeated a superior alien force, they had revolutionized warfare itself. The combination of human creativity and adapted Arcturian technology had created something entirely new. Word spread quickly through the galaxy. Other alien civilizations, many of which had suffered under Arcturian dominion, began reaching out to Earth. They sought not just alliance, but guidance. Humanity had done the impossible. They had taken an advanced alien technology and improved upon it in ways its original creators never imagined. In the Strategic Defense Command Center, Dr. Chen and Admiral Rodriguez stood before a holographic display of the galaxy. The map showed dozens of worlds requesting diplomatic relations with Earth, and hundreds more monitoring the situation with intense interest. "What do we do now?" Dr. Chen asked, watching the diplomatic requests multiply. Rodriguez smiled. "Now we do what humanity does best. We adapt, we grow, and we help others do the same." The galaxy needed a force that could stand up to empires like the Arcturians. They needed someone to show them that technological superiority alone doesn't determine the outcome of conflicts. They needed humanity, Dr. Chen concluded. As Earth's hybrid ships began the process of establishing peaceful contact with other civilizations, a new era dawned. Humanity had earned its place among the stars not through conquest or intimidation, but through innovation, adaptation, and the unshakable determination to forge their own path. The Arcturian Empire's attempt to subjugate Earth had instead unleashed something far more powerful, humanity's true potential. And as news of their victory spread across the galaxy, one thing became clear to all who heard the tale. The species that had been dismissed as primitives had become the galaxy's greatest agents of change. The age of human innovation had begun, and the universe would never be the same.